Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Audacity Factor podcast. My name is Kathryn Daw. I'm your host, also the founder of Audacity Coaching and Strategies. Welcome to episode 7, where we're going to talk about collapsing time and collapsing space. What the heck is getting in your way of actually doing that? And does it have to be hard and does it have to take a long time? Because you know what? I don't believe either one of those things, in spite of the fact that everybody says it's true. I believe that's just, well, a belief. You believe it's true because everybody says it's so. Well, is it actually true? Or is it just that we just believe it to be? So that's what we're going to get into today. This is a concept I know can seem kind of out there. This is a concept that I recognized a couple of years ago when I was having a difficult time wanting to be in a relationship, an intimate romantic relationship, and being afraid of it at the same time. You know, that's kind of like the push me, pull you from Dr. Dolittle. And if you don't know what that is, that's why we have Google. So, how many of you are Star Trek fans or Star Wars or any of the sci-fi where there's time travel? Let's say the last Avengers movie, right? Endgame, time travel. Haven't you all maybe wanted to get where you want to go faster? You want, because we don't have enough time or it's going to take too long. We don't have enough space or we don't know what to do with all this space. It's too far. It's not far enough. It's all the things, seemingly at the same time. So what do we do with that when we're wanting to make changes in our lives? We want something to be different. And it's typically in regard to one of the 4 key areas: our health, our finances, our career and or job, and our relationships. Aren't those kind of the main meat of our existence? Sort of, you know, we can bring spirituality into it. We can bring in our mindset, all of that, but they're all pieces, well, of the same thing, but they definitely have a particular dynamic. So what does that have to do with collapsing time and collapsing space? It has to do with how you get to where it is you're going more quickly and with less difficulty, let's say, because it doesn't have to be hard and it does not have to take a long time. But I know everyone says it. Well, I'm not going to be everyone, and I'm not going to say what everybody else says. So that's a big part of my mission on the Audacity Factor podcast and on any of my platforms. Please, you can go to my website. You'll find the same thing. You can go to my LinkedIn page and you'll find the same thing. I want to fly, flail. I almost said flail. Sorry, I was watching Game of Thrones and, you know, flaying. Oh, I guess, well, we're not going to talk about that, but there was a little bit of a flail in there somewhere. Anyway, so this thing that I discovered about collapsing time and collapsing space, if you can you envision what it is you want? Let's say your health. You want whatever this most aligned version, healthiest version of yourself is. That's kind of your destination, right? This is the place you want to be for the rest of your life, however that long that may be. And you want to feel what that feels like. And okay, let's put a little bit of vanity in there. You want to know what you look like being that. And that's okay, because that can be one of our drivers. And let's let it be a driver, not a place for judgment and shame. So there is, from where you are right now to this vision you have of you in optimal health, there's this span in between, and I want you to imagine that span. What do you feel like that span? How long is it? How far do you think it is? Do you feel like it's going to take you a really long time to get to this, to the other side of that span or bridge, you can call it? I don't know. Span is the thing that sticks in my head, but it's a bridge between you now and you in this optimal version of yourself. And again, I learned this in relation to me wanting to have a romantic relationship and the one I wanted, not settling for less, not saying, well, I can't have it all. Well, yes, I can. And I do at this very moment. I have it all. So what I recognized in that place, and as you're envisioning this span, what you believe it looks like, and I want you to imagine it clearly. Is there a debris field in the way? Does it seem like there are just giant boulders, or maybe it's piles of garbage or boxes or whatever it is that's in the way of you moving more quickly and with more ease to this other healthier version of yourself? That's what we're focusing on right there. If you can clear that field, you not only collapse time, but you collapse the space between. Now, isn't that exciting? Once I recognized that, I thought, oh, wow, well, I can do that. Isn't that what we all talk about when we talk about personal growth, personal development, healing, the capital H, the healing process? Just that phrase makes it seem like, oh my God, it's like you're carrying jugs of water up a mountainside. And God knows how much effort and time and whatever it's going to take. Well, okay. It doesn't have to, so much of that is focused on beliefs, not only about the people that are talking about, even the leaders that are talking about whatever healing, it's whatever healing means to them. So they believe that it's got to be hard. They believe it's going to take a long time. So that's what they're going to convey to you. But it's a belief. Beliefs are true to the person that believes it. If it's your belief and you believe it to be true, well, then it will be true for you. So if we can select what our beliefs are, why not create the beliefs that will actually empower us? Create the belief that we can actually collapse time, we can collapse space, and it doesn't have to be hard. I'd rather have that belief because that can be yours as well. All right, let's get back to the span. So what's in the way of you getting to that, like say, perfect health or your financial security and independence, your most enjoyable, optimum career or job, and your most fantastic relationships? Okay, pick one of those that's really pertinent to you right now, knowing that they all affect the other ones. So as you start to dismantle the field that's in front of you, that's blocking, let's say, your health, you'll notice the effects in the other areas of your life too, because they're all connected. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to recognize this is your sole responsibility, is to get this stuff out of the way so that it is no longer blocking you, so that you can, again, collapse time and collapse space between you and what it is that you want, this optimal, whatever, health, optimal financial situation, optimal career and or job or retirement even, these optimal relationships. Now, typically this debris field is made up of fear. And it can be in the form of trauma, abuse, definitely past experiences. It can be even joyful experiences that you have a hard time not living in and comparing your present and your future to those. The fear of you not ever having a joyful moment again. It's still all about fear. Because, everybody talks about the unknown, everybody talks about uncertainty. Well, life is uncertain, but life is also exciting. It doesn't have to be fearful. So what do we do then about this debris field that's in front of us? That's what your responsibility is here, to clear that. And again, doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time. The more we can breathe life into what we want, the more real that becomes. And this debris field will dissipate. Now, you can take a more active role in that to make it happen even faster. Breathe life forward, breathe life into your present, breathe life into this optimum version of yourself in regard to whatever it is, your health, your finances, your relationships, your career. When we clearly envision that, clearly feel what that will feel like, because that's not how we want to feel. Why would we go ahead and breathe life into what we don't want? Why would we go ahead and breathe life and focus on what it is how we don't want to feel? Poking at a bruise to make sure it still hurts. Well, if you continue to poke at it, it's still going to hurt. Why would you do that? So how about instead, let's allow those things to be dismantled, allow those things to dissipate because we're not driving any energy into it. So as those things clear, you can easily move toward what it is you want. Thus, collapsing time doesn't take nearly as long. Collapsing the space between. Because maybe you started this far apart. And as you clear your side, and if this is, say, in relation to your health, your optimum health is over here. And you're here. So when you clear the way, you're collapsing this distance between until you meet. And that can take as long or as little time as you want. It's your choice. I encourage you to believe that. And I encourage you to remind yourself of that daily, hourly, every 5 minutes. Totally up to you. But this is how beliefs are created. So how about let's create the ones that we want? Know that we can collapse time and space by clearing away our traumas, by clearing away our experiences. It doesn't mean we have the lessons that go along with them. Those lessons are the lessons that we have. We don't have to hoard the box that it came in. I'll tell you, my ex, and I know many of you know this, I was in a abusive relationship for about 10 years. And he had this obsession with keeping the boxes for everything. So more than half of any storage space we had was filled with boxes just in case. So TV boxes, computer boxes, all kinds of boxes for stuff. And this is what you can be doing, is keeping this box something came in it. Well, you already learned the lesson. You don't need the box that it came in anymore. It's taking up space, and in taking up space, it's going to take up time. So let's not do that then. You don't need those. There's no just in case here. You know, it's okay to be a tourist through your past. But recognize it's a round trip ticket. And it's meant only for you to browse through. But don't feel like you have to visit there at all, because you don't. The lessons are yours forever. The memories are yours if you want them, and you can choose the ones that you have. And you can let the rest dissipate, because it will. Without you breathing life into it, without you turning your eyes and your feet backwards to somewhere you can't go, when you turn around and you breathe everything into what it is you want, I guarantee you will have more ease, more grace, and it will happen more quickly for you. Now, I will say, in regard to relationships, each one of us has a responsibility for, again, our side of the span. When it's between two people, part of that span is in relation to the other person. It's up to them to clear that span in front of them. So I decided when I knew I wanted to have an intimate romantic relationship. Again, not settling. I wanted this to be and feel like the love of my life. Who did I have to be to have that relationship that I wanted? I knew what I had to do. I had to clear the debris field in front of me and recognize the only person that I would have a clear path to would be someone that was doing the same thing on their side of the span. So think about that. It could be any number of people, but it took the one that was clearing the path as I was clearing my own path, thus collapsing time and space to be able to meet. And I have the most fantastically incredible relationship in my husband, David Flynn. So you can have that. You can have what it is that you actually want. Leverage this concept. Leverage the experience of it. Leverage it by taking the action that you need to take, checking your beliefs, creating the beliefs that you want, breathing the life into what you want, and taking the action that you need to take, thus collapsing time and space, and with a lot more grace and ease than maybe you've been led to believe in the past. And I will tell you, talk about collapsing time and space. I met my husband just a year and a half ago. We got married 6 months ago, a year after we met. We spent almost every single day together. It is the most beautiful connection I've ever experienced in my life. And the healthiest as well. He did his work. I did my work. And it didn't take a decade. Didn't take 5 years. It can be whatever the amount of time is that you want it to be. Believe that. Now, if you don't, that's okay too. However, I still encourage you to leverage this concept. Leverage the process. Examine your beliefs. Breathe life into what you want, not what you don't want. And see what happens for you, because I guarantee It will be something tremendous. All right, that's it for me here on episode 7 of the Audacity Factor podcast. I will see you all next week. And yes, I know I've talked about it before. I do have guests coming and some fantastic, incredibly powerful guests coming on the Audacity Factor podcast. And I will let you know when those are coming so that you can tune in. All right. I will see you all next week for episode 8 of the Audacity Factor podcast.